Oh, it feels good to be back.
It is.
Hey, now since we're a DC Sports podcast, right? Shout out to the Washington Mystics. They're in the 8th spot right now for the playoffs. 2 games left. They're a game ahead of New York Liberty. Plays the Connecticut Sun tonight, and the Mystics play the Liberty on Friday. So these next few days are really spicy for the WNBA and the Mystics.
Go Mystics. This happens all the time. If Stoner counts a team out, and all of a sudden they go on a tear.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they're not going on a tear. Sorry. They don't have the horses this year. Sorry, they don't. I'm realistic.
Back, right?
I love them.
Yeah, Tina Charles is back.
I love the Mystics, but come on, let's be real.
Yeah, they're not going to win a championship, I don't think. But if they make the playoffs, it'll be a nice story. Overcome all the injuries and all this stuff.
Make it out of the first round, right? I hope to see them make it out of the first round. I think they have the potential to do that.
Go Mystics!
Go Mystics.
I'm a pretty bad kid.
Yeah, let's talk about the bigger picture. Let's talk about how we be ballin', playing with the Wizards. Let's talk about the Nats and how they always got good pictures. Let's talk about the Cats on rescue, turn them boys to winners. Injuries and updates, oh yeah. To the opponent, we stand toe to toe, yeah. To the top, this podcast gonna go, yeah. I think it's something you should know, yeah.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ref the District, episode 34. We're going to have Fireside Giants on with us in just a little bit. We're going to be talking about the Washington football team going up against those New York football Giants. And you heard us talking about the Mystics during our countdown as well. So I just want to say it's good to be back, guys. I missed the interview with Fireside Giants. But these two held it down. We got the Stoner with us.
What's up, boys? Week 2. Let's go.
All right. We got Trev as well.
What's poppin'? Got my Fresca the day before.
Fresca. What is up with the Fresca? Tell me, what's the story with the Fresca?
There really isn't a story. I used to drink it a long time ago, and then I just realized as I've gotten older, it's kind of a throwback drink, and stores are bringing it back. It's delicious. And it goes good with vodka, but I'm drinking it straight. So,
do you know anybody on the planet besides you that drinks Fresca? That's what I thought. All right, let's go.
What's up, guys? It's some football, baby. Week 2. Let's do it.
Well, we got Andy joining us on Twitter.
Andy, up,
so
man?
Thanks
What's
for joining
up,
us. We stream this live on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter accounts, so you can catch us there 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. You can also catch us on your favorite podcast platform. Just wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find us there. Just make sure that you subscribe and comment and like. That allows them to, more people to find our content, which we appreciate. And then we have more people interacting with us during the chat, which is always fun to do on live podcasting. Let's get into it. Week 2 against the Giants, Thursday Night Football. I will be there at the game, so I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm going to be the only one representing Ref the District, right? So that's fair. You two live a little bit further away from the stadium than I do.
Not as far as Andy, though.
Andy does live quite a bit away.
Further away.
He would love to come to the game, and we
got to get him to one of these games.
We would love to have him.
Well, you're going to have to talk to President Biden if you want to get him to a game, because right now I believe Brits are not allowed in the country. So,
all right.
Yeah. So go
out of our control.
Out of our control.
So
you don't have connections, Nathan? You don't have connections to, at the Pentagon. You work at the Pentagon.
Yes, he does.
Not that I want to put your business all.
I was about to say, let's keep this moving. This is getting really uncomfortable, gentlemen. This is really uncomfortable.
Let's go.
Move along here. Let's talk about the Giants. That's who I want to talk about. Giants lost their home opener.
Yeah.
They looked like bumbling fools.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Washington didn't look too much better. We talked about that with EB on Monday and the day after reckoning. What does Washington have to do to bounce back against the New York football Giants?
I'll take this one.
Yeah, let's go, Trev.
The defensive line has to show up, plain and simple. You gotta create pressure. You gotta rush the quarterback. You have to do your job. They did not do their job very well on Sunday, so I expect them to do way better this time.
What about this, Trev?
What's up?
Daniel Jones dropped back 37 times, and he was hit twice by that offensive line that is so terrible. He was hit twice, both by Von Miller, but 37 times, and he was touched twice. That doesn't bode well.
No, it doesn't. So that's why I'm saying we're going to have to touch him.
Yeah.
We have to sack him. We have to touch him a lot. Yes.
Yeah. Just disrupt him, right? And it's not just getting the sacks. Like the sacks would be nice, but just rushing, making him hurry, getting him out of the pocket, but keeping him from running the ball is something that they've had some difficulty with, and something that you really don't want to see some of the linebackers who have been out there, worry about, right? So, if you have Bostic chasing down Jones, we're going to have some issues. Yeah, so, as much as Jamin Davis has been much maligned, especially from our very own Trevor, he at least has the speed to really close that gap and make that make it so that way Daniel Jones isn't running wild. How about you, Stoner? What do you think? What do you think Washington needs to do to bounce back?
Well, I think for sure Trevor hit it right on the head that our defensive line has to disrupt Daniel Jones, and we have to keep their defensive line from disrupting Heineke. Now, we know Heineke's great off schedule. When he gets out of the pocket, when he's moving around, that's where he excels. But that's not what you want from your quarterback. You want your quarterback to be able to sit back there and read the defense and be able to pick out his playmakers, not running around like crazy and just chest passing. Although that's a great play, but you don't want him doing that every time. So I would say it's going to be one there in the trenches and how each team's defensive line disrupts the other quarterback. I think it really just comes down to that.
Well, you brought up Heineke. This is his first start of the 2021 season, far earlier than any one of the three of us would have liked to have seen, although at least a few of us predicted that he would see some playing time this season. What do we feel like this is going to be, for him? Is this going to be his coming out game? I mean, a lot of people felt Tampa Bay was, but he didn't win Tampa Bay. There is the Heineke Hive who loves him, but what is he going to bring to the table, and how is that going to really affect the game plan?
I think we're actually going to see what Taylor Heineke looks like when he has not a full week because it's a short week, but he's been let know he's a starter. He's going to game plan, and he's going to go in there with a game plan and try to execute. I think he's going to bring what he brought to Tampa Bay, honestly, just his game, his gunslinger, wild style, YOLO type style gameplay. He's going to bring that to the offense and give our wide receivers an opportunity to make some plays. So I'm excited. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I am a little excited just to see what he can bring to the table, knowing he's a starter and not saying, "Hey, you're up, go in." You know what I mean? So
getting more than a couple quarters to play the game. Steve says the Giants always make the backup look like a star. Welcome, Steve and Patrick, who is also in our chat right now on YouTube, to the channel. Thanks for watching us tonight. Stoner, what about you? Are you going to turn into one of the are you going to get on the Heineke hype right now, or are you going to wait?
No, definitely going to wait. I was not one of those Heineke guys. In fact, last year before the Tampa game, I even said they should wheel out Alex Smith in a wheelchair and play him ahead of Heineke. That's how much I did not trust him. And he proved me wrong in that one game. He was incredible. He did everything that you would hope a backup would do in a game, spark the team, play out of his mind, and all of that. But I will say this. We are going to find out right here and right now in the next few weeks if Taylor Heineke is an NFL quarterback. There's no more of this.
NFL starting quarterback.
There's no more of this. Should he be the guy? Should teams be trading for him? He should be starting every week over Fitzpatrick. He's better at doing this. We're going to find out once and for all if Taylor Heineke is an NFL starting quarterback. That's for sure, because we don't know right now. Nobody really knows. He's played in like 3 games for Washington, parts of 2 games and 1 full game. And so you can't figure that out. You can't evaluate a guy's ability to be your starting quarterback. And that we're going to find out in the next few weeks. 100%.
one of the interesting narratives with Taylor Heineke to me is when it comes to that, right? Because some people like to say that he is not a person who's going to show up in practice. Like his game doesn't show up in practice. He's got to be in an actual game.
Right.
Do you feel like that's how that rolls out, Trevor?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I'm just going to say, yeah, I do.
Yeah, but the thing is, it could be true because in practice, when you start going off schedule, they shut it down. It's not like Heineke gets to run all over the field.
Right. Yeah, they blow the play dead. And,
slide. Yeah, they'll blow it dead.
It didn't go as planned. Not gonna. Yeah, you're just gonna go ahead and
so there is
call it right there.
Yeah, so there could be some truth to him being a gamer, a guy who can do it in a game better than he can show in practice. We all know he doesn't have the arm, so he's not going to go into a training camp and off-season workouts and all that and just impress people with zipping the ball here and there. He's going to be the guy who's going to do the unscheduled stuff and spark your team and hopefully make plays. But that's what Daniel Jones's role is as well. So we have to worry about Daniel Jones on the other side doing the same thing.
And we also have more playmakers to help Taylor Heineke out too on offense than we did in the last year or the other years we've had him. So maybe that'll help his stock out too. And Nathan, going back to you saying coming out party, I think it's a coming out party for Heineke and for our defense at the same time. Because we play the Giants one more time, Philly twice, and Dallas twice. This is, I think, probably the best opportunity we have for both sides of the ball to show what we've got as a coming out party, because it does not get any easier in our schedule, as we all know. So this is the prime chance to show, hey, we're for real. Need to be recognized. So
yeah, for sure.
Now, one of the things while we're talking about Heineke here, Heineke, even though this is going to be a game where he's starting and everything's going to be game planned for him, it is a short week for the Washington football team. They played this Sunday. This is a Thursday night game. This isn't a full week worth of practice that he gets to kind of have with the starters. Is that going to play a factor here for the team? Or do you feel like he's going to be, this is just going to be like a full week for him anyways?
You remember what EB said on Monday when he said that Taylor Heineke's college coach said Taylor Heineke is the only player that he has ever known, any quarterback that he's ever known, that goes through 5 progressions, that can effectively go through five progressions. And 2 of them are before they even get to the line of scrimmage. So he's already ahead of it. We know he knows this offense. He's been in this offense for a long time. So he knows it. So that's not going to hurt him as far as being a short week. But Daniel Jones, again, we keep going back to the other side. He's in the same situation. He knows the offense. He's been in it for a while. But Taylor Heineke, I don't think it's a disadvantage, but it's certainly not an advantage either.
And he's been playing with the ones in practice too. Rivera said that, just because Ryan was there first, Taylor got some starter reps too as well. They didn't discriminate or be unfair with that. So he has rapport with the ones already. So now he's going to see if it translates to game speed rather than just practice speed.
Yeah, and he's making a good point there on that you see right below us there, that the Giants do have a lot of injuries. Evan Ingram's not playing. Saquon's not 100%. We know that. He's questionable. We don't even know if he's going to play. Their offensive line is banged up, right? They have one of their starters.
Shane Lemieux. I think Shane Lemieux.
So here's what somebody said. Here's what somebody said that I'm totally stealing, and I can't remember. It might have been Jesse from Burgundy. Sorry, I forget which.
Bleeding
Burgundy. He said, or somebody said, it might have been him, that the Giants are putting on a platter. They're putting a feast for our defensive line on a platter. And if we don't feast on it, then there's going to be a lot of questions about this team and
I think it was Jesse
and all of that. They're putting it right out there for us. They've got a weak offensive line. They've got injuries on the offensive line. So now, if we don't take advantage of that, if Chase and Montez and the defensive tackles, if they don't just terrorize Daniel Jones, we're going to have a lot of serious questions to start asking.
And it's going to be a long season.
And it's going to be a long week and a half.
Yeah, I was about to say, because another game doesn't happen for a long time. Well, Tim Decker's on our chat watching live here. He says Andrew Thomas is going to lock down Chase Young again. So maybe it's a long day for Chase Young, even with all those injuries. They've shown that they're willing to move Chase Young from left to right. So that's going to be an interesting thing. I don't know if that's just a 1 week, move him away from Rashawn Slater type deal, or if that's going to be a situation where you see throughout the.
I think they do that a lot. Haven't they done that a lot last year as well? They moved him different sides here and there.
I felt like maybe it's just because it's been a while since we saw live football. I don't remember it as often. It felt like he was the primary rusher on one side, and maybe that's just because we're also used to seeing Ryan Kerrigan run from the left side, so it was very dominant there. So Andy's deactivating Twitter if Washington doesn't win the game. T Shivers 79.
I think his name's Tony.
Tony. Yeah. So Tony hops in here. Taylor needs to stay healthy to see what he has to offer here.
Yep.
This is something that worries me, not just Taylor's health. Washington is choosing to only go in with the 2 quarterbacks for tomorrow night.
So far, they have until tomorrow at 4:00, I think.
So not exactly. Yeah, not exactly like Shermer's going to make a big difference there.
Did you watch him in the preseason against us?
No, I didn't.
He was a hot mess. He was terrible. So
who did he play for? Who did he play?
Cincinnati, I think.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, he was bad.
That was the game all 3 of us were at, I think.
Yeah,
wasn't it? Wasn't it Cincinnati game? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so they mentioned on there, Tony, I think it's Tony, sorry if it's not, mentioned that we're going to see if Taylor Heineke's going to get hurt. Because again, that's the big knock against him, right? Whether he can stay healthy. That's why he hasn't been in the league all these years, because he was always getting hurt. Every game getting hurt.
Yeah.
So if he can't do it, if he gets hurt again, then you just say, well, he can't.
Even in the Tampa game, he ended up nicked up there. He had the shoulder injury after scoring that amazing touchdown. And it is Tony. So Tony, thank you for watching.
Thanks, Tony.
So I was watching Good Morning Football this morning, and they have Thomas Davis on there today.
Nice.
And one of the questions was, should Washington sign Cam Newton? I'm bringing this back up again. Thomas Davis says, if Taylor Heineke could not get the job done this week, the next week, and the week after that, Ron Rivera is going to get on the phone and call Cam Newton and tell him to come to town. Do you think that is going to be the case, or are we going to roll with Kyle Allen as a trial and error, or are we actually going to be like, look,
I think it's going to take one more QB injury for the team to
not
pull
a bad
in.
performance.
Not a bad performance. I think they're going to roll with Heineke and Kyle Allen for the season.
Okay.
And bad performances be darned. They're going to stick with it. It's going to take one of those two going down for the team to sign Cam Newton. I really think that's what it's going to be.
So what if our defense is keeping us in the game? Oh my gosh, RG3.
RG3.
One of those. What if our defense is keeping us in the game, but quarterback play is still horrible, having to rely on our defense to win these games? Do we make a call or we keep rolling?
Yeah, I agree with Nathan. Unless you have an injury, you're still not calling Cam. As everybody said, Ron Rivera has had multiple chances over the last few years to sign him with the quarterback situation that we've had in Washington, and he's never done it for whatever reason.
It might be the vaccination thing. I just saw a comment pop up.
Andy brings up the vaccination status. That could be it. Steve says that Washington should ride with Cam Newton. He can win some games.
Steve. I'm with you, bro. Like
I tweet.
If that's the case, I think Ron would have already had called him. I just don't see it happening unless there's an injury. This is something that Andy's bringing up that I think is a great question to ask. Right. So
yes.
Does Washington have a problem keeping Terry McLaurin if they don't sort out the QB situation? This guy has had 10 different starting QBs.
Starting QBs,
not just QBs, starting QBs since coming in the league. This is his 3rd season.
Right. 2 years plus 1 game.
Yes. Yeah. And he's had 10 starting QBs.
2 games.
Do they have a problem keeping Terry McLaurin if they can't sort this out? Does he want to sign here, or is this going to be a situation where he moves on, much the way we've seen a lot of decent to good wide receivers move on from bad organizations?
He made a comment in his presser. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, and I can't remember word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, it doesn't matter if it's a fourth string quarterback. Like as long as the continuity is there, and then it's fine. So with him saying that, I don't know if it's smoke, just saying the right thing, but I don't see Terry as a person like that. I see him saying whatever he says, he means it 100%. So with that being said, I think he stays, especially if we make a move like in the draft to go get a quarterback or something after this year, to show the receiving core that we take the quarterback position very seriously, not just, we try for Matt Stafford, we'll settle on Fitzpatrick. Like if we aggressively try, I think he buys into the system. He loves Rivera. I think he stays. But if we don't address the quarterback situation, he's gone.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to get inside a guy's head on how they're thinking about these things. But Terry's a classy guy. He's a team first guy. We all know that. He's a leader. He was made a captain in his rookie year, right?
Yeah.
Was that his rookie year? Or was it last
That's what
year?
he wants his nickname to be. Is I know a lot of people
Captain
stuck
Terry.
with the Scary Terry, but he's like, I don't like that.
Yeah, he wants to be the captain.
He wants to be the captain.
Terry.
Yeah, but so it's hard to get in his head. So that would that would get you to believe that he would stay here. But it's all about the money. It always is. 100% of the time. Nobody gets a hometown discount. As long as Washington ponies up the bag, he's going to take it and stay here. But if somebody has a better offer, he's gone. That's what I think. I think that he would go where the money is. And just like anybody else will.
What do you think?
You would, I would, anybody would.
I think that I don't necessarily think it's going to be tied to the QB situation. I think that it's going to be whether or not the organization has stability. So if he feels the organization has an upward trend, then he will, and sticking with Ron Rivera, the team seems to be going up. He will stay with it, much the way that another classy wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald, had stayed with the Cardinals for a long time, even through thick and thin. I think
they paid him, but they paid him big money,
and they're going to have to pay.
He's worth it, and Terry is definitely worth it.
He's definitely somebody who I think that Washington will value as long as Ron Rivera's there. And Steve mentioned Ron Rivera attracts talent.
I like Steve.
He's a Giants fan, so we're going to have to forgive him for that. But we appreciate him.
I think he's a low-key football team fan too.
We got Roger in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Roger. Roger's taking it back to the defensive side of the ball. We've talked a lot about the offense here. Young was stoned by Slater. He was then moved to the other side for the duration of the game against the Chargers. Jack Del Rio needs to dial up those blitz. I have to agree with him.
They did blitz.
And it was not effective. You're correct.
Right.
We need Cam Curl on the field. We need Cam Curl on the field.
Yeah, I think we talked about this on the DAR on Monday. It was just weird that some of the best players did not play the majority. Well, didn't play most of the snaps.
Montez
they played a
Sweat
majority.
played like 60%.
Well, actually, I think it was Pete Haley who brought up actually his usage was actually on par for what he had been used the last two seasons. 60. He normally plays just 65% of the snaps. It just he wasn't as effective as he had been
probably what it is,
for some previous seasons. So
hey, but what about this?
Tony agrees more Curl. I agree.
Yes.
Every time Curl was running off the field, I was like, what? And especially when Bostic was the guy running on. I was just like, what are you doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about, remember how Montez Sweat was supposed to be a higher draft pick and he slipped in the draft and then we ended up moving up a little bit to get him in the first round. Right. Because of what? Because there was issues with his with his heart.
Something like that. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he doesn't play 95% of the plays like most people. Call. Maybe he just has a conditioning issue. I'm totally starting a rumor here. So
wow.
I'm just saying that. I mean, not. I'm not regurgitating anything.
Sweat's heart problem is back. That's why he's not playing.
Yeah,
Watch.
I'm just totally making that up as a possibility.
I'm good if he plays 65% of the snaps and they're a productive 65% of the snaps. You don't want to see him playing 85% of the snaps and he's not productive or he's out there tired, right? And that's the reason why they were doing those rotations, was keeping people fresh. And because it was the first game of the season and because it was bloody hot out there, I think they were just going overboard with the rotations. And I think as the year goes on, you're going to see a little bit less of that. And you're going to start seeing people stay in a little bit longer as the conditioning gets a little bit better. So,
but again, the offensive line for the Chargers in that game, they played 100% of the plays. They didn't rotate in and out.
Because that was like their first game playing together. So of course they will.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So why did we feel that our defensive line needed to stay fresh when those guys are out there all the time? Why is it that our guys need to stay fresh and rotate in and out? I don't know.
Maybe Roger has a point that Ron treated this like a fourth preseason game.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't like that.
Let's bring on Fireside. Let's get some.
It is time to move on. Even though Steve wants us to keep the rotation.
That's just because he doesn't want Chase Young terrorizing quarterbacks all game long.
Steve.
We're on to you, Steve.
I take that back.
Stay with us here. We'll be interacting with you in the chat here, but we also have the Fireside chat or Fireside Giants. I don't know. I keep wanting to say Fireside chat, but it's the Fireside Giants here with us on Ref the District.
Joined now by Alex Wilson and Anthony Rivardo from the Fireside Giants podcast. You can find them on a bunch of different platforms, and I'm going to let them talk about it. But Anthony and Alex, thank you both for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you guys having us on the show. And, you can find my background at Empire Sports Media. That's our website. We cover all the New York sports teams. And of course, we have YouTube channels and podcasts, and the main one is Fireside Giants. So we are a Giants channel. I'm sure that'll make for some good content today as we discuss this matchup on Thursday. I'm really excited to speak with you guys and see what your strengths and weaknesses are. We know you have this quarterback situation. We know that we have our own quarterback situation. There's a lot to go over, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys. So I really appreciate you guys having us on.
Alex, let me ask you this. When you started off looking into the season for this year, and then you have that extremely disappointing loss, does that make Thursday night an absolutely must win in game 2 of 17?
It's a really good question. And honestly, for Giants fans right now, every game is a must win because we're one game away from burning this place down. Like it's getting scary. And I know it's like overreaction week because of that week 1 loss, but it's looked the same as it did last year. We didn't see much improvements. We didn't see a difference. And that's what scares me the most. The scheme looks the same. The defense, why I am very confident the defense is going to step up and they're going to get a lot better. That's one thing I feel very good about. Offense, though, I have no idea where it's going. And, for the most part, like that's really what concerns me the most. And, I watched almost the entire Chargers Washington game today to kind of get an idea and scout a little bit of what to see from Heineke and to see, what really you guys are going to rely on. And I'm expecting a couple things. One, I'm expecting heavy doses of Antonio Gibson. I'm expecting him to be pretty much running the ball. He's going to get 25, 30 touches. That's what I expect. They're going to be using him, attacking our outside linebackers and outside zone runs. I think they're going to be crossers with Terry McLaurin trying to get, those underneath routes open. And the Giants are going to try and, put Heineke off his game and try and blitz him a ton and really force those mistakes. I think that Heineke has some mobility. I think he has subpar arm talent, but he's accurate in the short to intermediate ranges. He's not going to throw the ball downfield and shred you in that way, but he is pretty decently accurate in the short ranges. And that's why I think they're going to kind of live and die. I saw that Washington only converted 3 first downs out of 10. They did convert a 4th down. So the Giants last week, their biggest problem was getting off the field. We gave up a ton of 3rd down conversions. We gave up 3 4th down conversions. So, that was our defense's, kryptonite. And it seems like your offense had trouble in that category exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see which unit is really going to take that step forward. And either, the defense will succeed and get off the field or your offense is going to take advantage of that. So I'm really curious to see what happens. But for the most part, I like our defense's matchup against your offense. But, I'm really curious to ask you guys, when you're looking at this pass rush, you have a tremendous pass rush. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Our right tackle is a turnstile. It is Nate Solder, and he was absolutely horrendous. And you guys are going to be able to take advantage of that for sure. But my question is for you, like, do you think that, like you said, your linebackers a little bit, I know you have John Bostic as one of them. Your linebackers aren't that great. Do you think that that's going to be a problem, especially for if Evan Ingram plays and if Saquon Barkley is running routes? Do you think that's where the Giants are kind of look to exploit your defense?
You guys have mentioned both of our teams have, I guess you could say, subpar quarterback play. So what's the kind of the atmosphere like in Giants land about Daniel Jones? Is he the guy, or are you guys ready to move on? Is this his last make or break a year, or what's the attitude like?
A loaded question, and
we love loaded questions.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, this is the meat and potatoes, everything. This is a question that we all ponder before going to bed every night. Is Daniel Jones going to be the guy? And I think after last week, a lot of people that were on the fence turned towards no. That fumble that he had, you just can't do that. It's a momentum killer. It's the epitome of Daniel Jones's career up to this point. He's making a drive, he's looking good, and then he turns the ball over in a moment where you're like, what are you doing, man? Like the league, the rules are set to protect the quarterback. If you slide and get touched, most of the time you're going to get a flag. Yeah. He for whatever reason thinks it's fun to run full speed into two defenders who are purposely trying to punch the ball out, and he's barely holding on to it with both of his hands. And like, it's just crazy to me. Like these guys are taught to knock the ball out, and he worked all off season to protect the football and clutch it with more security, and he still managed to mess that up. So it's like it seems to be an issue that doesn't alleviate. It doesn't go away. And at this point, 2 seasons in, and 1 game, I'm on the side that's like, I don't think it's ever going to go away. I think we're just going to have to live with it. So that's kind of, I know Anthony has his opinion.
Yeah, I just want to interject here and say the fumble was obviously super concerning because he's fumbled more than anyone in the last 2 years. But maybe equally concerning was his inability to read the field. There were probably 3 dropped interceptions in that game. He just kept throwing at 2 defenders, and they had Butterfingers for whatever reason. But he has had this problem. It really stemmed last season. I didn't see it that much in his rookie year, but since he entered this Jason Garrett offense, I've noticed this trend with Daniel Jones where he gets locked into his first read far too often. He just can't get off it. He doesn't go through his progressions. He'll see, they have a hot read. It's a stick route to the tight end. If that's the initial route in the concept, he's throwing to that. He's not looking to the second read. Even if that guy is covered, he's just going to try and squeeze it in there. And that happened a couple of times, and he almost got picked off a couple of times. He got lucky. But then there was another one. I think Saquon Barkley was running an out route from outside of the backfield. He comes up, and I think there's a linebacker on him. He turns out, and there's like a cornerback right there, and he just throws it into this double coverage. And I was like, dude, we're lucky that didn't become a pick six. And, he dropped it. But that stat sheet should have looked a lot worse for Daniel Jones than it did. So we talk about the fumble because it was the only turnover for the game for the Giants, and it was like such a glaringly obvious problem. But when you really watch the game, you notice a lot of other small problems that added up to that. And the problem with Daniel Jones in that game and pretty much every game of his career, he's playing so good until he isn't. He was making all the right reads. His completion percentage was high. He had a touchdown on a good throw to Sterling Shepard. Then he fumbles the ball, and since that play on to the end of the game, dropped picks, not seeing the field, not doing well in the pocket, getting a little antsy. It just all fell apart after that play. He's a really momentum-based quarterback, and once he gets shaken, it's really hard for him to recover.
I mean, you guys scored at the end, though. He ran it in at the end.
See, now that actually made me angry. I started tweeting. I'm like,
don't count that.
The Giants are losers for doing that. I was pissed at that. Why are you stat padding in the NFL? I can't understand why they were doing that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So one of the things we like to do here at Ref the District is we like to get people's not so educated view or opinion of the other team. So what do you look at for the Giants? And then I'm going to ask you guys to kind of counter that.
I honestly think that after watching some of the clips from the game on Sunday and just hearing from you guys, I think it's going to be another bottom of the year for the Giants, bottom of the division. The offensive line is shaky. Daniel Jones is turnover happy. So yeah, I just think that, like you said, Anthony, there's no change from last year to this year. Jason Garrett is your offensive coordinator. That speaks for itself. As far as organization goes, I think I've recently saw on Twitter or whatever, some people are upset with David Gettleman. They think this might be his last hurrah at
a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of
Everybody
people.
else, yeah.
So I just think it's another rebuilding year for you guys. Saquon's not fully healthy yet. We don't know how long it's going to take for him to get back because he blew up his entire knee. Like you said, everybody on offense has some kind of injury hindering their performance right now. So I just think it's kind of the same result as last year.
Yeah, and the way that I would counter that, which is hard to do in itself, is basically I would say we haven't really seen what this offense could even possibly look like in another dimension. If Loki alternate universe took over, what would Loki's, Jason Garrett offense look like? This is a huge question mark. But, if you look at last year's Giants team, we have Wayne Gallman starting at running back, who isn't even on a team right now. I think he's on the practice squad for San Francisco or something. And then you have undrafted free agent wide receiver Austin Mack starting by the midway point. Who actually had a big catch against you guys in that first game, I think, or maybe the second game. And then, we have Sterling Shepard, who's going up against, number one corners all year long. Darius Slayton, who has a big issue dropping the football. And then Evan Ingram, who dropped 8 footballs, 6 of which were correlated to Daniel Jones interceptions. So, now you go into this season, you have Saquon Barkley getting healthy. You have Kenny Golladay getting healthy. You have Kadarius Toney, who is capable of being that different element, that kind of Tyreek Hill-like element where you just don't really know what he's going to do at any moment. Obviously he's nowhere close to being Tyreek Hill, but I'm saying like just the flexibility that you can do with him and jet sweeps and, unique route concepts. We just don't know what it's going to look like because these guys aren't healthy yet. The offense isn't at full capacity. The offensive line is still meshing. So in a perfect world, we're in week 1 right now. We got some good film to work off of, iron out some of those deficiencies. You're in, let's say, fast forward to week 4, week 5. The offense is coming together if they stay healthy. The line's playing a little bit better. They're figuring out how to use Kadarius Toney. Kenny Golladay is 100% healthy. Saquon's 100% healthy. Ingram is back, and then we're really moving and grooving. But again, like you have Jason Garrett as your play caller. We never know if that's going to come to fruition. We never know if he can even figure out how to use these guys in the first place. He's still living in 2004 with North Carolina's offense from Dallas. The offense we are using right now is so outdated. It's hard to even imagine how he could possibly add different elements that can bring us to that next level. So we're praying, we're hoping to the good football gods that they can come down and bless us in the next couple of weeks. But I am not confident they're going to do that. Yeah. With you guys, I mean, I said from the beginning when you guys got Ryan Fitzpatrick, I was like, that's going to be a disaster. There's a reason he's been to like every team in the league. There's a reason people bench him. Like everywhere he goes, he's benched at some point in the season for inconsistencies. Right. I always from the beginning, you guys said I think that's gonna be a disaster. He's gonna be done by a couple weeks in, and of course he's done it after week 1 due to an injury because he's crazy and he runs. Not that he was running when he got hit this time, but the guy takes unnecessary hits all the time. And I was like, it's just a recipe for disaster. Maybe you guys go and get Aaron Rodgers next year. Maybe that's what you guys are waiting for. So. Maybe we'll get him now, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
well, he's not coming to NFC East, I don't think.
Yeah, he's not coming here. He's going to want to go somewhere he wants to win a title. But at the beginning of the year, when we were kind of doing our predictions for the NFC East, I picked the Giants to win the NFC East. Because a lot of the reasons that you said, when you just look at it from an outside perspective, we don't have all that inside information that you guys have. But when you looked at Daniel Jones always kills us. He's 4-0 against us. And then you had Saquon, and you had Shepard, and you have Ingram, and you have Kadarius Toney and Golladay, and you're just going, well, how are we going to stop this offense? This is a ridiculous offense. And again, 4-0 Daniel Jones is against Washington, and you just add all that up and say, well, this is a team that's going to win the East. However, I don't think that anymore after just 1 week, overreaction week 1. But Anthony, let me ask you then, what is your kind of outside view of the Washington organization? Because we look at it here as we're moving up. We've got the right people in place. We've got the right coach. We've got the right front office staff. We've drafted well over the last few years. That's how we look at it inside, but usually we're too close. So what does an outsider how do you guys look at the Washington football team as a whole?
Yeah, personally, I've been saying I think that Washington is kind of a quarterback away. And as Alex mentioned, if you guys were to end up with Aaron Rodgers, I think you're the Super Bowl, maybe even favorites at that point. Because I look at this defense, it's a young defense. I know you're saying there's concerns with the linebacking core. I'm hoping – I actually really liked Jamin Davis coming out of college. So I'm actually hoping to see him be a successful player in the league. I know the defensive line, there's so much young talent on that team. And if you look at the offensive side of the ball, another player that I really liked coming out of the draft was Diami Brown. I think long-term, he's going to be a good player for you as well. Antonio Gibson's a good player. I also like
Curtis
Samuel
too.
Cosme coming out of college. Curtis Samuel was a player that we were talking about a lot in free agency or leading up to free agency, right, if he's healthy. So if we're talking about long-term outlook for this team, maybe not this year. This year, I think at best you're slipping into the wild card after the injury to Ryan Fitzpatrick. So the way that I was looking at this team going into this year is they're a quarterback away from being a serious contender. But with Ryan Fitzpatrick as their quarterback, they can make it to the playoffs, but probably no further. And now without Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm saying they can maybe make it to the playoffs this year, but it's going to be an uphill battle. And that's how I feel about them. But again, long-term, I see so many young pieces. Of course, Terry McLaurin is a rising superstar in this league. Antonio Gibson's a great running back. I think that you got some good pieces like Samuel Cosme on the offensive line. It's really just about finding that quarterback. But here's where I think Washington gets stuck, right? Kind of in limbo, because now you have this good roster, you're a good team. But if you do try to look ahead to the NFL draft, you're talking about a team that's probably making the playoffs or coming close to it. So you're talking about top 15 to 20 pick, not 5 to 10. So with the Giants, when we're talking about how bad we look right now, we're saying, okay, we've got the Bears first round pick and we look like a top 10 pick team right now. So if we want to go get a quarterback next year, we're right there. We can get that. But you guys have too much talent on your roster to really be in quarterback range unless you make some big trade or something. So it seems like one of those situations where you might end up with a Dallas situation, unfortunately, for you guys. Like, I hate to say that, you know, and I hate Dallas. Man. Of course, we both do. But it looks like you guys could find yourself stuck in mediocrity for a few years. That's my outsider perspective looking in, unless something magical happens at that quarterback position. But again, love the roster that's been built there in Washington. Think there's a lot of excitement, but it's all about the quarterback position at the end of the day in the NFL, especially in the modern NFL. Jason Garrett may not be able to understand that, but most NFL offensive coordinators do. So until you guys find that young quarterback that can be your long-term answer, you're going to be stuck in limbo.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
I disagree a little bit. And the reason is I think that if you guys went out and traded for a guy like Sam Darnold, you would be looking at a team that was way better off than if they were with Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, I truly believe that. I think that there are decent quarterbacks out there that are floating around, like the Teddy Bridgewaters of the world, that would have been so much better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love the Ryan Fitzmagic, but it's magic for a reason. It's there, and then it's like, you know, if you ever watch Talladega Nights, it's like, you know, Ricky Bobby. You know, it's like now you see it, now you don't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's it. So that's how I feel about it. You know, I do feel there are some quarterbacks coming out. Both Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson have outs in their contract after this season. If they're like, we don't want to stay here anymore, we know Russell Wilson loves Seattle, but he hates the coaching staff right now. He hates the offensive coordinator. He hates that they don't want to throw the ball more. And he's like, I want out of here. So if he decides he wants to do that, he's like, oh, you know, Washington, they already have a young, awesome defense. Why not just go there? And they have the money.
He's from the area too, so
he's from the area. And then you have Aaron Rodgers, who, like, while maybe he wants to stay on the West Coast, he wants to go to California or something like that. If Washington's like, yo, we have you a great defense, we'll give you anything you need, we'll make this your team. Like, they just, you know, give him the Tom Brady treatment. Whoever you want, we will bring in. You know, like, just like Brady went, he was like, I want Rob Gronkowski. He was like, I want Antonio Brown. I want this guy, I want that guy. I'm like, yep, no problem. Washington can do that. You know, they can easily do that. They have the money for it. They have such a young defense. I don't think you guys are in that bad of a spot. I think after this season, if you got to give up 4 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks for Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson,
do it.
It's worth it because you're a Super Bowl contending team immediately. So I think that you're on a pretty good trajectory, which is why, by the way, I think you guys went with Ryan Fitzpatrick, because maybe they're looking at those outs in Russ's and Aaron Rodgers' contracts saying, we just need to last one more year, and then we're going to target those guys. So that's there has to be some sort of plan there, right? I feel like, you know, Ron Rivera's got some stuff up his sleeve. You know, he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. They kind of had to take a season to rebuild their image after all that happened within the front office. They kind of like gotta start another sample size of like positivity and momentum before they can convince people to come and, like, you know, maintain their brand and stuff like that. So I think, you know, if the NFC East is wide open for the taking, which it is 100%, a quarterback can come here, absolutely dominate the NFC East, and then that's all she wrote. You know, you guys could be walking into the playoffs with no problem. So that's how I personally see it. I like your roster construction a lot better than ours right now because of how much great youth you have. But, you know, the Giants, Dave Gettleman's an old horse, man. He's a dinosaur. So we'll see.
It's time for him to go.
It really is, because he's changed his mentality so many times since being general manager here. Like, he went from, we want to be a run first team, and then he's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to give more power to Joe Judge, or I'm going to take power, or I'm going to do this and that. And like, there's been no consistency here. Like, they're all stuck in their old ways. We need a young mind with a modern approach to the NFL right now, and a modern approach to offense, specifically offense, because this is a scoring league nowadays. And Dave Gettleman is just so far back in the past. I'm pretty much done, watching him draft anymore. Like, come on, like Daniel Jones and I love both Saquon and Daniel, their personalities and leadership, but they're just like, you don't draft the running back second overall. We've learned this lesson now. We've learned it. And Daniel Jones is a Duke quarterback. He was never that good.
Yeah, that pick always surprised me, bro.
We were always hoping. We're hopeful, a hopeful fan base. But we try our best to stay positive, but it's really hard.
It is very frustrating.
All right, last question, gentlemen. Let's get score predictions for Thursday night. Trevor, let's start with you. What do you think the score is going to be? And this is not we have a segment every week where we call it Dollar Dollar, where we bet fake dollars. I'm not going to hold this one to you, Trevor, because we're going to have a real Dollar tomorrow. But go ahead and make your prediction for this one.
Washington football team, 27. New York Giants, honestly, 13. Just a repeat of week 1.
Oof. All right. Alex?
Well, of course you have to say Washington's going to win. I mean, I think I have to say, I think Heineke's going to have a tough time against this defense. That first week, the Giants changed their scheme, right? They're trying to get their defensive scheme under them. They blitzed more in week 1 than they did at any point last season. So obviously they're changing their fundamentals and their philosophy a bit. So I think they kind of get their ground under them. They know how to attack this, a backup quarterback like Heineke, who you said really he's mobile. He can make plays, but his arm talent's not that great. So I think I'm going to go with the Giants. It's going to be a lower scoring game just because both our offenses are kind of garbage. So I think I'm going to go 17-14 Giants.
All right.
That's fair. I could see it shaking out that way. I'm actually going to be really unbiased here and say that I'm that low on the Giants right now that I'm not going to pick them to win. I do think that their offense starts to pick it up, though. So I'm going to say probably 20-27. I think that the Giants do finally crack 20 points, but I ultimately think Washington comes out with a probably touchdown above them.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pick the Giants to win 19-16. 19-16 Giants. There you go.
This says a lot about our offenses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
except for me, I'm over here 27 points. Like, let's go.
I know,
Light them up.
I'm there with you. I had 27 for Washington as well.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones might give you guys a couple touchdowns. So
exactly.
Well, we'll take them. I don't care how we get it. We just need it. We're like you guys. Washington is very similar to the Giants. This is a must-win game. We go into Buffalo in week 3. We start a row of quarterbacks, a murderer's row. We go Josh Allen, Matt Ryan,
Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers,
Jameis Winston.
We have a similar situation too.
Yeah, I mean we play pretty much all the same teams, but our extra game, our 17th game that got added on was Buffalo when they
they didn't look good on Sunday.
Okay,
I think Josh Allen has that signing extension curse. You never know, man.
Okay,
it was interesting. I actually saw an interesting stat about Josh Allen, and they were like, they actually didn't blitz him that much, and he had a harder time figuring out coverages and stuff when they didn't blitz him. It was a really interesting statistic. So maybe like the trick is like not to blitz him as much, and he's so good once he gets like frazzled
under pressure.
He actually like gets better when he's under pressure.
Like Taylor Heineke, honestly, when he's under pressure,
slows the rock or runs
he's
it.
Like,
you don't know what he's gonna do, and that's when like the receivers just start to run around. I think he actually like isn't the best like pure pocket passer, which is maybe what they figured out, but also could just be the week 1 lows. Every there's so many players that had like Lamar Jackson had a tough game yesterday, and like that doesn't happen to him normally. Insane game, but like there's guys that just like they have a bad week 1, and then like Aaron Rodgers, the guy barely did anything, and he'll come back next week and hopefully make Devontae Adams not lose my game for me in fantasy football. So
right. That's all. That's how we're so jaded about how we watch games nowadays. It's so much about fantasy football and was that our betting and our daily wagers, all that,
and props.
Oh my gosh. It's a different way of looking at football. But gentlemen, Alex Wilson, Anthony Rivardo from Fireside Giants. We appreciate you guys coming on the show, talking Giants football. You see their Twitter handle underneath their video there. So hit them up, check them out, subscribe to their YouTube page, Fireside Giants, and they have a website, which we will promote as we go along here. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us, and may the best team win on Thursday night.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right. That was a great conversation you two had with the Fireside Giants. If you appreciated them, make sure that you also go out there and you subscribe to their channel as well. Love seeing these pods, these channels with fan-created content. We say it, we have it right behind you. Just a fan, but hey, we love what we do. We also love our Dollar Dollar segment, which we're going to get to right now. This is our particular segment. Stoner a little bit there at that end mentioned how people kind of get jaded because the betting. This isn't real money we're tossing around here. This isn't real dollars.
I got my wallet right here.
Trevor, we've seen. I have a strong feeling you are probably not wanting this to be real money, because I don't think you're doing really well on this. If we're going to keep track, we're going to keep track. Probably not for Friday's Day After Reckoning, but next week I will have we'll have a tally together.
Yeah,
and we'll actually see where we all stand for the next dollar. And Trevor, I don't think that you'll be happy with where you're sitting.
I want to be rich.
All right, let's get to it. Dollar. So in case you're new to Ref the District, Dollar is just our kind of segment where we have some fun, little prop bets, nothing too serious. Usually they are a little crazy. These are meant to be for the game. Sometimes season-long ones come out of this, though. For instance, we have a season-long Logan Thomas watch, where those two jokers think that Logan Thomas is going to get 85 receptions. I don't think that's going to happen, so I said I'll bet you $1 it's not going to happen. They originally thought 90. I talked them out of that craziness and I was like, I'll spot you 5.
That was a terrible decision on your part, because we would have gone with 90.
Yeah,
and you gave us 5 free ones.
I'm still going to win.
Left. 82 more to go.
Yeah, 82 more to go. He has to average 5.2 catches. Last season was a career year. He had 4.5 catches per game. He'd have to have an even more of a career year. It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
And we also don't have Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing the ball, so that number might go down drastically.
Who knows? His one touchdown, his touchdown, and actually, I'm pretty sure most of his out of his 3 catches, I'm pretty sure at least 2 of those were from Heineke. Not many of our offensive players came into play until Heineke came in there. But
so you just zip it there, Trevor.
Let's go ahead and get to this dollar segment. No, he can't zip it. Give us our first dollar bet.
The first dollar bet for tomorrow's game against the New York Football Giants will be Montez Sweat and Chase Young both record a sack.
Sweat and Young,
at least 1 sack each.
At least one. I'm not giving them that much hope, especially after Sunday.
But all right,
one each.
I'm with Trevor on this one. I like that. I'm with Trevor. I think that they both get a sack.
That doesn't really happen. Nathan really doesn't agree with me like that. So I got a good dollar. I got a good dollar. Come on, Stoner, get some of this.
All right. Heck, I'll do it just for the action.
The action.
You love the action.
All right. Well, let's see if you'll take this action. Taylor Heineke, for the first time in Burgundy and Gold, throws for 2 touchdowns. At least 2 touchdowns. Did you see that, by the way? Declassified LE tweeted out some statistics on Taylor Heineke. He's never thrown for more than 1 touchdown pass. I'm saying that breaks against the Giants. He throws at least 2.
He's only played like 3 games. So
he throws for at least 2.
Small.
I'll take Nathan on that one.
All right. You
think
I'm with him.
He throws 1?
I think he'll throw 2. I think it's coming up.
Oh, you're with him.
You're staying with me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm returning the favor. I'm staying with you. My terminology in betting is probably crappy, so that's why I'm saying.
I think he's like cheating. I think he's like, because you were just making fun of how bad his bets are. So now he's like, I'm going to suck up to Nathan and go everything that he says. I'm going with it.
Are you gonna go against us? You gonna go against us?
Of course I am. Just for the action.
Just for the action. I tell you what, he could be. You know, this just could be the Gibson show, right? The team showed that they ran well, and Cosme is a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. So
Much
they
better.
very
Can
much could
Antonio
just run.
Gibson hold on to the ball now?
Ooh.
Well,
I don't care if
One
he-
fumble, one fumble.
Yeah, and everybody forgets how well he was performing until he had the fumble, which is a sad thing. So, but honest truth. So, can he hold on to the ball?
So I went back and watched both of the highlights from both of the Giants games from last year, and he had one of those big runs, kind of the same type of run that he had in this game against the Chargers, where he went off tackle there and went down the sidelines. But in that Giant game, if you remember, he went down the sidelines and fumbled. And there was that mad scramble.
Yep.
Remember
remember that.
Everybody kept trying to jump out. Logan Thomas was right there. He couldn't get it and kept going. Well, he's got a fumbling problem. But that's only 2 in like 17 games. So, well, he didn't even play all the games last year. So
it's less than 17
It's
games.
not a fumbling problem until it's a fumbling problem.
Adrian Peterson had a fumbling problem. Still one of the greatest running backs of all time. Let's move on. Stoner, what's your first dollar?
All right, Stoner says, I want to go over 2.5 field goals for Mr. D Hop.
What do you mean? Like he makes them or he kicks over 2?
Yeah, he makes
more than 2.5. So the over is 2.5.
Yeah,
I'm taking the over. I think he's going to score more than that.
Well, yeah, okay. So you're with me.
I'm with you.
If Trev goes with it.
I don't want to be with that.
You think
you
it's less?
You want to be against it?
I think he makes 1 and misses 2.
Oh, jeez.
Very
So
specific.
Trevor, no.
D Hop was one of the actual decent performers. I mean, he missed the 50 yard.
Last year's game was 20-19 and 23-20. These are low scoring teams because they both have pitiful offenses.
Well, we don't really know what offense we have yet because we didn't really get to see it, and we have more weapons this year, which means we could not, we
saw preseason and we saw game 1, and so far, not a good offense.
Nah.
So far, that can change very quickly, but that's why I think he's going to have a lot of action. 2.5.
Okay. All right, Trevor, give us your second dollar.
My second dollar is Landon Collins. Nah, scratch that. Terry McLaurin and Adam Humphries both catch a touchdown.
Wow. Let's see. Okay, you were on the over 2 touchdowns, so he's good. He's
consistent at least. He's not hedging his bets this time. I'm gonna take that one because I don't think Humphries is going to get I don't think Humphries is the one who scores the second touchdown. I do think Terry scores this game. But
Stoner and Nathan both say no.
I don't think Humphries. I think honestly, as the season goes on, you're going to see a lot less of Humphries.
Now because we don't have Fitzpatrick.
Exactly. He didn't look all that impressive. Game 1, and game 1 is it's easy to overreact, but also the person who is going to target him a lot is no longer throwing the football. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of him. I think you're going to see a lot more of the other guys on there. Perhaps even Dax Mill may be surprising some people there. Josh, thanks for joining us here. Taylor going to do well tomorrow, especially with the defense giving more chances. Giants are in shambles. I hope so. I hope that's how it goes. All right. My next dollar is, we don't have the inactive list, right?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
There has to be at least 4 inactive, I think.
All right. This one's going to be this one's going to be surprising to you guys. I think Samus Reyes suits up tomorrow night.
Reyes
no
suits up.
chance is what you got. You guys remember that Vince McMahon song? No chance. Na-na-na-na. I'm going against that, Nathan.
You're going to go against that?
He stays in street clothes.
I'll tell you. All right. That's fair. You can.
Who's gonna
Ricky Seals Jones.
Jones.
Ricky Seals Jones is going to be the one sitting.
You got
Trevor says, "I'm staying out of
De'Ami
that
Brown
one."
with a deep ball from the comment section. Thank you for joining us as well. I didn't want to butcher your first name there, so I'm going to call you Mr. Bland, which is the last name that presented on the YouTube channel. So I just wanted
there you go.
give a shout out there to you thank you for watching.
So Nathan says Reyes suits up.
Yep, I'm saying, are you gonna take me, Stoner?
I'm not. Trevor's. You're
saying you're sticking with me. He's
no, I'm not going with you either. I'm staying out of it.
Oh, you're just going to stay out of it. Okay. The reason why I think Sam is because of his blocking ability. Okay, you love Ricky Seals Jones because he's a move tight end. He could run. They don't need that right now. What they need is some additional help on that offensive line. And Samus Reyes is their most physical blocker. And I'm telling you, Ron is going to put him in.
No, they're going to run two tight end sets for blocking. Leave Ricky Seals Jones Jr. out. It's going to be Logan Thomas and John Bates in to run block. That's what's going to happen.
They had 3 tight ends last game. They're going to run 3 tight ends.
And you saw how good Antonio was running. Only thing he did wrong was fumble, and who wasn't in?
You're right.
Okay.
Samus Reyes.
And what they want is that tight end in there, and they're going to have him chip block.
I'm going to the grave with this one.
I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to it.
Make it $2.
Boy,
I don't think so either, but I'm just.
You're not going to take me on it.
Yeah.
All right.
You're scared.
All right, you ready? I got a big one for you.
Let's do it.
I would like some odds with this one. So I would like like a 3-1.
This is not dollar. No, this is
this is
dollar.
This is dollar.
It's dollar. It's $1. It's not even a real dollar. It's $1.
Add this to my parlays while you're at it.
Yeah.
Gibson, Antonio, 1 each.
He goes one running.
No, one each. That's how we do it in the old school, right? Stone, Christopher, 1 each. Right? You don't remember that? All right.
No, keep going, old man. Keep going.
Gibson, Antonio, 120 total yards. 120.
What do you have last game? He had 90 rushing.
Yeah, and he had 18, I think, receiving. He had like 3 for 18 receiving.
No, I'm not gonna bet you on that one. I think.
Yeah, I'm not touching that either. Nah.
Not taking that action.
Like? Yeah,
140.
No.
I'll take 140. I'll take 140.
Originally, I was going to go with 150, but I was thought no,
150. I would have easily have taken.
All right,
yeah,
so 140
I would have easily taken. 140 is a close one.
All right,
120. I think 120 is going to be. He might run for 120.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Antonio Gibson show tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely think
Gibson show.
I really think they're going to do that. The reason why Taylor Heineke is going to get those two touchdowns is because the fact that they're going to get close and then he's just going to dump them off to Logan Thomas to McLaurin. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. We heard your guys' scores. I'm thinking 31-20 Washington.
Ooh, jeez, are you high?
I'm thinking. I'm not a part of the. I'm not a part of the hive. I'm not a part of the Heineke hype. But I'm telling you. The kid plays with moxie. I think that they're going to bounce. The team's going to bounce back. And I think that you're going to see a lot more Gibson, which the team needs to see, right? They need to be successful. They're going to run that ball a lot more effectively. I know our man Roger, who joins us, he will agree, right? Do the 12-man personnel, run Gibson. He wants to see that. I want to see that. And I think if they do that, they come away with a victory. And I think it's going to be one of those surprising games. It might not be that big of a blowout. It might be kind of like the Dallas games last year where they were close up until like the third quarter. And then all of a sudden it just blows out. Tim, thanks for joining us. The Fireside Giants came on just a moment ago, so you just missed them. You can always watch the replay and catch that. Great conversation with Anthony and Alex from Fireside Giants.
So real quick, if they go through Antonio Gibson right now, then how the heck are they going to survey or judge or grade the quarterback play? Isn't that like
that's not necessary.
They want to win. They want to win.
You got to do whatever.
There's also 16 more games.
Yeah.
I think we should just blow them out, bro. Go deep, go short, and do everything.
No,
give
no,
everybody some love.
Tony
They're not
asked, is there
do
going to be
that.
a defensive touchdown?
Ooh,
From
Tony,
who? The Giants,
Tony,
maybe.
I'm a third dollar, yes. And I'm going to say
Trevor?
this: William Jackson gets a touchdown pick 6 tomorrow.
Ooh. Do I do another one of these where I gift you something here?
No,
What do you want to
because
give
I
me?
want that too. No,
What's he want to give me? Let's hear what it is
He's
first.
probably going to say any player gets it.
I would just give you any defensive touchdown.
Yeah. Say no. He said
Nah, I don't
William
want
Jackson
that.
III.
Yeah, I said Willie Jack the third.
I'll take that then. I'm going to take your money. I'll
Yeah,
take
me
your
too.
money.
I'm taking your money on that too. Defensive. No, I'm not like you. I don't just give away.
I was going to gift you,
yeah.
man. I was going to be like anybody scoring a touchdown. Man, we're going to be wild. I'll be there at the game.
You will be.
Trevin Stoner will be watching it. But hey, I tell you what, you can actually join Corey Sanchez, friend of the podcast. You might know him from On the Warpath. You can join him tomorrow night. He's hosting a battle chat from inside FedEx Field. Thanks to the folks at Rave On Sports. All you have to do is download the app, follow him On the Warpath. His handle is actually at Sanchez405, or you can follow his YouTube channel On the Warpath as well. We had Andy on earlier. I want to make sure we shout out. They just started up their new YouTube channel. That's the DC Tweet Team. We will be joining them after, or I will be specifically joining them after the Buffalo game.
Yep.
So please follow and subscribe to their channel. And hey, if you love talking Washington football sports, make sure you're subscribed, and you're going to be following also the Washington Football Addicts. They're streaming live here at 8:30 here on YouTube. So make sure that you're subscribed to their channel. Head on over there. We want to, shout out all our Washington football pods. Appreciate what they bring to the table. Love them.
Hey, we didn't give our scores yet, though, right?
You guys gave your scores with the Fireside Giants.
No, but remember I said this doesn't. We're not bound.
Counts.
We're not bound to that because we have our own.
Are you going to
segment.
change it?
Yeah.
All right, so you go first.
Yours?
I gotta. Yeah, I'm gonna think of it. You go first.
All right. So
Mr. Bland agrees with me. By the way, you can see a high score.
Yeah, he's
Thursday
got the
night
exact
games.
same-
Expect the unexpected.
I put him on here as well so we can look at that on Friday.
He
Join us
didn't necessarily
Friday.
agree. He said he could see it.
Yeah, but join us Friday as we break down Thursday's game, Friday at 7:00. All right, I am actually not going to change my score. I'm going to have it 19-16 Giants.
And a lot of people delete their Twitter accounts.
You disappoint me so much, man.
Well, I'm a realist.
Are you really a fan?
I'm
Are you
not
really a
homer.
fan? You picked
I'm
the Chargers. You picked the Giants. Are you picking the Bills next week?
Hey, am
He's
I right?
definitely picking the Bills. I will bet $1 right now. He's picking the Bills, and the only reason why he'd take
I'll
that
go
action,
against you. Yeah,
that's the only reason why he'd take the action is just to take the dollar.
Right.
My
that's
new
right.
score is
All right.
I'll keep Washington with 27, and I think that the defense is going to go bananas. 27-9. 27-9. We don't allow a touchdown at all.
I don't understand. Sometimes I just don't understand. Our offense was absolute poop, and you guys got 31 and 27 points. Where are they going to all of a sudden break out? I don't get it.
Because we're not playing the Chargers defense.
Our
offense
last year wasn't that great, and we against Dallas, the team scored pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the Giants have a better
historically
defense. The
bad
Giants have a
defense.
better defense. The Giants have a better defense.
The Giants have a great defense. They have a top 10 defense.
We'll find out. I'll be at the game live. If you happen to be there, you can hit me up. I will be actually at the USO tent for the pregame.
Nice.
And then my wife and I decided to upgrade to the club section for the game. So just to test it out, just to see what it is.
And who knows? Maybe Stoner and I might hop on here live during the game just to,
just to make fun of Nathan.
Yeah, and we'll be in our own club seats.
Yeah, and we'll have our own.
You guys have
have
the option to join. You guys had the option to be there. You both chose not to, but it's all right. I want to thank everyone for watching us tonight. We do stream live now on Wednesdays. We were on Thursdays. Decided, you know what, Wednesdays worked out better for us because there's something happening in our personal lives. We'll announce that as it gets closer, and we can confirm when that personal thing is going to happen. So you can catch us live Wednesday nights on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then you can also catch us on your favorite podcast platform right after that, because we'll load the audio up for you to listen to. Just make sure you're subscribed. If you're on Apple, leave us a comment. We'd appreciate that. That helps other people find our content. And then we'll just keep creating more content, because we'll be back Friday for the day after Reckoning. We just had EB from the Junkies on for Monday's Day After Reckoning. It'll be just us, but we do have something exciting. We're actually going to allow not just to join us in the comment section, but you can actually join us here on the video side of the house. So if you are excited for that, let us know and join us Friday at 7 for Day After Reckoning. So until next, yeah. Hey, I'm Nathan. He's the stoner. Trevor, just a fan. And until next time, guys, be a fan.
Be a fan.
We love Washington, and we some die-hard fans. Yeah, we are. You know we keep it on 10. Let's talk about the offense. 1, 2, 3, let's go. And they gifted. We are Nathan and the Stoner. Yeah, that's Ref the District. Podcast. Come on now and join us. Join it.